Do you feel like you're having a spiritual awakening? Well, this video is for you because I'm going to give you the 10 signs. Hey guys, I'm Laura and I make videos that will awaken your awareness. And I wanted to make this video because my channel is all about spirituality type content, and some people may be going through a spiritual awakening but not really sure if they are, and they're a bit like, what is a spiritual awakening exactly? Well, I'm going to let you know. Number one, if you're watching this video, then that's the first sign that you're having a spiritual awakening. The reason I say that is because if you weren't on that type of frequency, like if this information doesn't really resonate with you, the video is not going to find you. If the video's found you, or you found the video, that means that you are on that similar frequency for this information to be coming into you. So sign number one is this, watching the video. Sign number two is you have increased intuition. So intuition is our gut instincts, it is our inner knowing and our inner guidance. And after I've had my spiritual awakening, I've become a lot more in tune with my intuition. Your intuition is also connected to like your higher self and spirit guides. So as you have a spiritual awakening, you start learning about all this sort of stuff, like you start meditating more. Meditating helps you to connect to your higher self. Meditating helps you to strengthen that intuition, right? So increased intuition is just where you're becoming a lot more tuned in to your inner guidance and your inner knowing. And so that is sign number two, and it is definitely something that is extremely helpful to us because our intuition is always going to guide us the right way in life. It will never guide us wrong, and the more in tune you become with it, the better your life's going to be, because you'll learn how to listen. So that's sign number two. Sign number three, you experience vivid or lucid dreaming. So our dreams can have a lot of like signs or messages for us. It's connected to our subconscious minds, right? So it's a way for our subconscious mind to be communicating to us about what's going on, in our minds or just inside us. So I know I've had I have a lot of like vivid dreaming, especially like, I know I have a lot of vivid dreaming when I'm like, I've got something on my mind I could be worried about or stressing about or something like that. And then you end up having a lot of stuff coming up in dreams. The way I see it with what's coming up in my dreams is almost like there's still work there I need to do on myself to heal certain aspects from my past, because like people from my past that I have nothing to do with will come up in a dream when I've gone to bed stressed about something. So the intense, being intense, like having dreams that are intense where they're really vivid, like you're really there. That's the same as lucid dreaming. Like lucid dreaming is where you become conscious in the dream. And so that's, you're in the dream, you're like, oh my God, I'm dreaming right now, this isn't real. Like experiencing that is a sign that you are on a spiritual awakening, because the way I see it, because I've lucid dreamed a few times, I've even had a lucid dream where, long story short, I was in this dream and my brother said to me, you're asleep and we're all just fucking with you, eh? And I freaked out because I was like, I literally could not tell if I was in a dream or in reality. So lucid dreaming to me, like I kind of feel like I've woken up to the fact that the dream world is actually this whole other realm. Like it's real, but it's just like a whole other different type of realm than this reality here. But while I was in that realm having this lucid dream, and my brother said that to me, I couldn't tell if I was in this reality or not, or the dream world. Like I literally could not tell it was that real. So yes, if you're experiencing like vivid dreams or lucid dreaming, then that's a sign you're having a spiritual awakening. And one thing you can do to help understand like your dreams more is having a dream journal. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, write down your dreams, because there's, like I say, there's signs and messages in your dreams. And of course, like, I don't know how long after waking up, but after you wake up for a bit, you kind of tend to forget your dream, sort of like, as you go on through your day. So that's why they recommend writing it down first thing in the morning as soon as you wake up before you forget. Sign number 4 is increased presentness. So after having my spiritual awakening, I I learned the importance of being present. I learned how a lot of us are living in either the past or the future. Like you're either worried about what's going on in the past, whether it's something that you need to heal from, something that you haven't really dealt with properly, or you need to heal from, like that's still bothering you, like you're stuck worried about something that happened back then. So, or you're worrying about the future and what's going to happen in your future. And because you're either in one or the other, most people aren't actually living in this moment right now. Like right now, right here, being present. Like do it right now. Practice presentness. Like just put the awareness in your body. You know, really take in just looking around the room you're in and just being present to that moment. So I practice, after having my spiritual awakening, I kind of started learning the importance of actually being more present. And I do a meditation practice that keeps me to be more present in the moment. So I've noticed that's increased for me, where I'm just showing up and it's kind of funny. It reminds me of this meme that I saw, like a cartoon meme I saw on Facebook or something, where it was like a person and a dog. You might know this meme. Person and a dog, they're like walking outside in nature, and the person's got all this crazy thoughts about different things going on in their little thought bubble, and then the dog's thought bubble is exactly what they're seeing in nature. You know, like it's a simple just being there and just with what's happening around you right now. So if you've got increased presentness, then that's a sign you are having a spiritual awakening. Number, what are we up to? 5. You start living from your heart more. So I before my spiritual awakening, I kind of neglected my heart. I think a lot of people neglect their heart because we're not taught about the importance of our heart, and kind of like end up living in your head more than in here. But once you've had a spiritual awakening, it's like, for me, it's like I've made that switch where I've started living from the heart more. I've realized the importance of my heart and how much of an impact it actually has in my life. Like your heart has more intelligence than your brain. Your heart was developed in the womb first. So your heart is a lot more important than what we have been led to believe. And so when you're living from the heart, it's more like you're not so selfish, right? You're more about giving to others and sharing love with others as well as yourself, like giving yourself that love as well. So and also just like connecting to your heart more, but also working with things that need to be healed in your heart. Like, you know, like if you're hanging on to anger or resentment or a grudge in here, when you give that your heart the attention and the time, you start acknowledging that and working with it to let go and heal it, and then your heart feels better, right? So it's just like, acknowledging that you start living from the heart more and start working with what's going on there a lot more. The next sign is number 6, which is a awareness of spiritual energy. So before I had my spiritual awakening, I perceived reality completely different. And then after my spiritual awakening, and I learned, learning how everything's energy, like literally everything is energy, and it all vibrates on different frequencies. And so that has now made me become more aware about my own energy, like, spiritual energy, as well as other people's spiritual energy. Sort of becoming like self-aware as like to the people around me, how they show up, how they make my energy feel. Do they make me feel drained, or do they make me feel empowered or excited? And just becoming more mindful about that, but especially where your own energy's at and where you're vibrating at. So I now have that awareness. Like I know when I'm vibrating on low vibe frequencies, and I can acknowledge that, okay, I'm feeling low vibe right now. Okay, what can I do to shift myself out of this low vibe frequency back into a high frequency? So it's having that self-awareness about how our reality really does work with when it comes to like energy. Number 7, you experience synchronicities. Synchronicities is what's known as, like, it's the same thing as a coincidence. But before you have a spiritual awakening, you just think of things as, oh, it's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. And then spirituality teaches you there's no such thing as a coincidence. It's called synchronicities. And that is the way that the universe is communicating to you. And it can be through different things. So it could be through numbers. They talk a lot about angel numbers like 111, 222, 333, whatever, I've been seeing a lot of 44 lately. Like I look at the time and it'll be like 11:44, 9:44, 1:44, and this is all throughout the day, like the same day. Look at my phone, it's 44%. I was baking a cake the other day. I look at the timer on the cake there of how many minutes was left. It was 44. I'm like constantly seeing it everywhere. So that's a synchronicity. But it could also be, for me, it's like you could be troubled about something. You could be thinking about something. You're sort of like unsure about a situation or whatever. And you think about it in your mind. And then you go and scroll on Facebook or something. And as you're scrolling, you see a meme that's very relevant. What it's saying in the meme is very relevant to what you were just thinking about. That's not a coincidence, it's a synchronicity. It's the universe communicating to you because they know what thoughts you're having that's going on inside. And so they communicate to you through like social media, could be through music, like a song may just randomly come on with a message that's relevant to what like you were just thinking about, things like that. There's no such thing as a coincidence. It's just simply the universe communicating to you through synchronicities. So if you're experiencing that, then that means that you're having a spiritual awakening. Number 8. So you are willing to love yourself and others without expectations. So for me, after having a spiritual awakening, I didn't understand the whole energy, frequency, vibrations properly until I had this spiritual awakening. And then I learnt the importance of these frequencies and how high love is versus how low something like fear is. And also learning that when we are born, our natural state of being, our natural frequency is love, which is really high. But most of us aren't living up in that frequency. We drop our frequencies down due to things that happen in our lives. We give meanings to them. We have traumatic things that happen to us that we don't know how to heal properly from. All that sort of stuff lowers our vibes. And but after having the spiritual awakening, it's like realizing like how powerful the love frequency is. Doing the work on yourself so you can bring your frequency back up to be in more of a love frequency. Also understanding the importance of treating others with love. This was like the whole Jesus thing, right? That's what Jesus was trying to teach us about, is to, love each other and forgiveness and stuff. And I'm not a huge, I'm not religious or anything like that. But I do understand these concepts with Jesus and stuff. And what he was trying to teach. And I fully agree with that. After having my spiritual awakening, you just understand the importance of what love's really about. So sign number 9 is you start to see through the illusions of society. So I actually woke up to the illusions of society before I had a spiritual awakening. So you kind of come to the realization that we've sort of been lied to, right? We have the people running the world, the rulers, shall we say, have made a really good effort to not teach us the spirituality type stuff, because spirituality is goes way back to the ancient times. It's very well known stuff, and it's been the missing part of our society. I believe this is why everyone's so miserable, walking around depressed, anxious, abusing drugs and alcohol, because we haven't been taught about the spirituality sort of stuff. And that's one of the things you wake up to when you're having a spiritual awakening, is oh shit, they've been keeping this from us. For a start, they're lying to us about things, or they're suppressing information on purpose. But not only that, I kind of woke up to the corruption in this world. Well, I woke up to the corruption in the world before having my spiritual awakening, years before, right? I was 18. I'm 34 now, so I think that's 16 years, if my maths is right. So, yeah. I had the spiritual awakening. Oh no, I woke up to the corruption first, years and years beforehand. Then later on had the spiritual awakening. Then I put 2 and 2 together. I was part of the motive of the corruption in the world is to do with the spirituality side of it, because they're trying to suppress us spiritually. They don't want us knowing about the spiritual stuff. Part of the reason why I started my business, to share this information after learning about it, because, I think people should know this stuff, because when people know this stuff, it gives them more of a, I guess, in a way, control over their lives, because they have a better understanding on how they actually work as a being, how we operate and how our reality works. So yeah, if you start seeing the illusions through the society, then that's a sign you're having a spiritual awakening. And the last one, number 10, is you understand the difference between your ego and your higher self, and you become more connected to your higher self. So before my spiritual awakening, I had no idea that there's basically like more than one version of us that's talking to us inside. And after having the spiritual awakening, you know, it's like I've learnt, oh, we have an ego and this is the ego's job. Oh, we have a higher self and that guides us. Like I hadn't, like I was so oblivious to this before, you know, the spiritual awakening. If you want to know more about the higher self and the ego, I do have, you know, videos on my channel you can check out on that topic. But yeah, basically you learn the difference between the two, because it's like basically you've got two different voices talking to you, and one's guiding you the right way, one's guiding you the wrong way. The ego is going to guide you the wrong way, higher self guides you the right way. But you also, after the spiritual awakening, like, or when you're having a spiritual awakening, you start being able to acknowledge you've got a higher self and learning to connect to your higher self. And one way you can connect to your higher self, probably the best way would be meditation, and connecting to your heart, putting the awareness in your heart. And that's how you connect to God, to spirit, to universe, higher self, spirit guides, all that stuff is through your heart. And so you learn the difference when your ego's talking to you and when your higher self talking to you. You just know, which voice is which. You start learning that, and then because you're becoming more connected to the higher self, like you're learning when the higher self's talking to you, you can acknowledge that it's the higher self talking to you. That's like your connection with your higher self is going to strengthen as well. So those are the 10 signs you're having a spiritual awakening. You may be experiencing all of them. You may only be experiencing a couple, and that's okay. It just means you're just on the beginning stages, the start of your journey. Which is awesome, because I think everyone needs to kind of wake up spiritually, but you can't force people to wake up. If people aren't ready, they aren't ready, and not everyone's going to wake up in this lifetime. So if you are on the spiritual path, then you're one of the lucky ones that has come here to wake up. And so it's awesome when you have a better understanding of, you know, how you work as a being and how our reality works. So I hope you like this video, guys. If you did, feel free to give me a thumbs up or write a comment. And if you like this sort of content, then hit the subscribe and the bell notification, because I make daily videos on my channel. So I hope you stick around. Hope I see you on the next one. Peace.